please see the link in this episode's description for a trailer for an element of pugilism. And there is a Z-Fest like contest going on, so do with that as you will. I'm a libertarian. I want you to choose what you want to choose.
No, I mean, don't you want people to like us? That's the whole point of it.
I want people to like us for us, not because they feel like...
Because we told them to?
Yeah, we're informing them, and then they can make their own decision.
Well, please click the link and click like.
Thank you.
You're listening to this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. It would greatly benefit the show.
I'm going to get up and grab a can somewhere else, so you'll have to...
Go ahead.
Right. Oh, we don't have a...
No, we don't, but you can grab a can, and then you can open
go
that.
Downstairs to grab it. I was just to
Go
tell
ahead.
you guys to vamp.
Hello and welcome to Movie Bitters. I'm Kirk.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Nick.
And we are here in the spoilers segment of Devil Unicorn. Did you have any issues with like how small or big the baby unicorn got?
That it did look a little inconsistent. It looked huge
right?
when they first hit it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looked like a fucking full-grown horse-sized thing. And then I guess I already had like Nelson Mandela effect. You don't say Nelson when you talk about it.
Just
you
Mandela.
Just say Mandela. Mandela
I mean, that could be
effect.
an effect of it too. Nelson Mandela effect, yeah.
From watching the trailer, I thought they tied it to the roof of their car for some reason. So when they show the car driving up through the driveway and it's not on the top of the car, I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, did they really fit it in the back? Are they going to go back for it? No, that's in the back of their car. That was jarring. And then, I mean, from that point on, I think it kind of looked pretty consistent. It was mainly from when you first saw it, when they hit it, versus when, it's in the back of the car. And then looked very tiny though. I guess it kind of looked tiny on the
Gurney, the medical
gurney,
bed. Yeah.
And then looked very tiny next to the parents when they all got up at the end. So, yeah, that was a problem. I think my main problem with it was the CGI was just not really up to snuff. And that kind of took me out of it a lot of the time.
I didn't have too many issues with the CGI. Did you, Kyle? We're talking about the consistency of the horse, or the unicorn.
That is something that has been discussed. May I quick do something? I've heard a lot of negative feedback on the inconsistency of the CGI. I think some of the time it was a prop. Did you hear in the interview with the director if that was addressed?
No, well, he only spoke to him for like 15 minutes, and the other half was with, what's that guy's name?
Will Poulter?
Yeah, Will Poulter, yeah.
I thought Will Poulter is just continuing to play...
One note character?
Yes, this across Guardians 3, Midsommar... hell, even Prince Caspian, the Narnia movie.
Oh, I didn't know he played Prince Caspian.
He's Eustace, I believe.
Oh, not Caspian?
No, it's not Caspian. Have you seen
I don't know
the
anything about
Narnias?
those. No, I fucking, no.
I have not fucking seen any of the Narnias.
But back to the CGI. There was, complaints about it.
One of the criticisms I've heard that I don't have an improved thought on is that you would think you would learn the lessons of Jaws and show the unicorn less. It was a little, maybe first time directory, maybe like something I expect more of like fantasy TV. Some of the ways it was shown didn't have as strong of a like Ari Aster aesthetic to what I've come to expect from.
Which is odd because he executive produced.
Yeah, but I don't know how much say he had.
Oh, yeah, I'm just saying it's a little, not like he had control over it, but it's like you would think.
He should have, yeah, maybe.
You would think his influence would be maybe a little bit more on it. But
producing is a
business. Executive producing, too.
Oh, yeah, it's an act of business, not necessarily an act of art.
I mean, look at Steven Spielberg executive producing fucking the Jurassic World, and, we have fucking trained raptors that you just need to shake your head and hold your hand out to get them to not tear you apart. It's the fucking dumbest thing I've ever seen.
I want to say, like, I'm sure there's some reporting on if Spielberg has commented on that. Like, it's these things, like, he looked at all the Transformers movies before they came out, and people commented on, like, because he got involved when Megan Fox called Michael Bay a Nazi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Transformers movies, you weren't complaining about the robots, you were complaining about the story.
My
mostly.
point being that Steven Spielberg was
in advisory position on that, so he could have,
Well, yeah, and even stuff where he's not even credited, like he was kind of responsible for the ending they went with for the original Paranormal Activity, because that was with, oh God, I guess DreamWorks. Was it DreamWorks?
Kirk's gonna look it up.
Oh,
I
sure.
remember
I think DreamWorks
they get
DreamWorks.
God at the end of the movie, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like there were a few different ones where she's possessed. The police show up and they gun her down.
Yeah,
One
she's
where
possessed.
she kills her, like she slits her own throat, and the one they went with when they finally released it wide, and it was upon his suggestion, was that after the boyfriend goes downstairs and you hear her kill him, she comes back into. Oh yeah, he throws his body at the camera, and then her face turns possessed, and she like lunges at the camera. That was his idea.
I like that.
And he's not credited on that, but I think that was DreamWorks still back then. DreamWorks was still in the mix.
No, they got involved after the movie.
So just
But like this was during the process where they
reshot
acquired
that.
it, and they were gonna just remake it, and then they decided to actually release it, but they tweaked it. So
This doesn't have franchise possibility in my mind.
Unicorn?
I mean, can.
Yeah, they could make another Death of a Unicorn, but
No, it doesn't really. I mean,
Well, I mean, my biggest disappointment with the movie was that there were 2 other unicorns. I was just hoping for the one. So you just keep
no
it.
unicorn dies in the movie. But there's no death of a unicorn.
well, the baby dies.
I mean, technically dies and
They
gets
just get
resurrected.
Yeah.
Takes 2 horns to resurrect a baby.
Oh, we should watch Passion of the Christ.
No.
What does it? Is there a unicorn in that movie?
No, the joke, because it resurrects.
Yeah, I know. 3 days. Yeah.
It wasn't 3 days. It was a weekend.
A weekend.
The unicorn. This movie's going to be out over the Easter holiday for the Christian faith folks, of which I count myself in the numbers of.
For Easter.
My point was just that when we talk about the death of a unicorn, we have to acknowledge the fictional death of this unicorn, as Nick is saying, because it does die, it gets resurrected he was technically correcting me, and I'm not actually going to bait you. I'm going to agree. You're right.
Technically, it never dies because according to the scientists...
You're going to bait him.
Yeah, according to the story, it never dies because it's always fresh blood. They cut it and there's always blood coming out the baby unicorn. It's staying alive in some kind of stasis, for sure.
You accept that as a counterbait?
I mean, I don't care enough to argue it's fucking
Why do you think they
unicorn
brought
movie.
up the Blackfoot Native Americans? I thought that was like wait, are they trying to say like the
Wait, what
peoples
was
who
that?
existed in the lands before them, which I think that's like magical person of another ethnicity.
I mean, that's just,
is
I
not
think,
good.
how America has to... I mean, we took over the land. Not we, but, because I'm Asian. I didn't have anything with this.
Actually, both of our families,
people.
from the best we know, I'm adopted and don't know my ethnicity. And Nick's family, I believe, is Irish.
There's some Irish. It's a mixed bag. It's a sock drawer.
The point is that a lot of like the Irish and those came over like post 1850. So
I think
the
it's just
stealing from the native peoples
I
had
think
been
it's
done
just
by
a
that
throwaway
point.
line.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
felt to me like what you see in a lot of movies these days, I think, where they clumsily try to add some thematic weight to it by throwing out little lines here and there, but they don't follow through enough to like make it a big enough part of the script to follow through on it. They were they like had a piece of an idea, but they didn't gather the other pieces and insert them to create a through line for that idea.
Yeah, because
and
being
weave it
Indian
in.
had nothing to do with, or Native American had nothing to do with solving the problem. So it's a throwaway line.
Movie Man T asks, would the movie have been better with Catherine O'Hara instead of Téa Leone?
Well, I mean, nothing against Téa Leone. I mean, I thought her character was like the most grounded
Yeah.
of like where
Most
like
grounded?
the grounded portrayal of this type of character.
She wasn't extreme.
The least cartoonish, the least caricature-ish.
Okay, we all are going to say Will Poulter was the most cartoonish.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, sure.
could I make an argument for Richard E. Grant's character being the most grounded? I was confused on if he was her father or if he was her husband.
Her husband.
Yeah, and that I think is one of the most grounded elements of
Marrying a white rich guy?
Age gap.
Yeah.
Rich,
I mean,
yeah.
that
I mean, we
happens in
see
real
it
life,
in real
yeah.
life, but I still thought his performance, his character was more over the,
Extreme.
more cartoonish.
Immortality and all that stuff.
When he would refer to friends or pals, what'd he say?
I don't remember.
He refer amigo, or he would say something
Oh.
like that, and I was annoyed. I knew it was a character choice for me to be more annoyed by his like corporate kind of, oh yes, we're in this together, even though we're not.
Family, that kind of thing.
Is the horn an organ or a what would it?
Depends on how you use it.
Well, I mean, what do you mean? It's an organ, but
I don't agree that the horn is an organ.
if they say it is,
Wait, did you say organ or what
Or
the other
teeth?
option is?
or tooth.
It's more like a tooth than an organ.
Well, technically, they define teeth as organs too. So
What?
yeah, I looked it up. I googled it. Technically, teeth are organ. So I mean, it counts.
Their money is teeth.
What was the significance of Will Poulter snorting the horn dust? Because even after he did that, his motivations didn't seem to change.
Yeah,
It didn't seem to. He's
see the
still like he
universe.
was going to do what he was going to do anyway, even if he hadn't snorted the dust.
Rich people do cocaine, and cocaine is a rich people drug.
Yeah, but I mean, then why didn't all the rich characters snort dust? I mean, what was the significance of having him do it, and what did it change about the story? All it seemed like he was just more amped up while doing the same thing he would have done anyway, with the same goal he would have had anyway.
If it opened his mind, wouldn't he have understood the unicorn in some way? Don't you think? Like Jenna Ortega's character.
Yeah, because for
Yeah.
her, it seemed to have a different effect. It had a.
She had okay, good. I can defend this. It's how some people use drugs and they get more connected to their place in the universe, whereas other people use it and they just get like more, directed in the ways they already were. Like some people do mushrooms and they're like, oh, I see, I am but a droplet of water that has come from the greater ocean and will one day return to it, as the Buddhism thing.
Yeah.
Whereas other people are like, oh, let's do a bunch of drugs and make computers that people buy more.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, I wouldn't disagree that different people have different reactions to drugs or
It's a
alcohol
metaphor
or whatever.
for that.
But why did they need that metaphor though?
Yeah.
Like, what was the point of that
It
to
didn't
drive the
affect him
story
at all.
forward?
Yeah.
If his character's goal is already what was it
Exposition
anyway?
dump, like from a crass like
But
story
he didn't
perspective.
exposition
I think
anything,
I think
though.
they
What did
used
he
it just
say?
as a way to
Yeah.
have a beat and to have something happen.
What even happens when she touches the horn, like, and she sees,
I think
Inception,
she feels
or
safe in some way. She's more connected to the world.
she feels safe.
Yeah.
Let's go down that
Okay, well,
weird
I think
rabbit
she
hole.
does feel safe because she has this connection to the world, to even the universe. 'Cause she even explains it like she has connection. She almost sees like her mother in some ways. She connects to it, don't you think?
It seemed like that, but I
Yeah.
also felt like it ended up being that was the whole thing of seeing those visions was already seemed to be unnecessary because she learns the lore of the unicorn by won't you know it, her mom had a picture with her standing in front of a unicorn tapestry. How lucky.
She was
and then-
destined to be there.
and then she looks it up and finds the tapestries, and then that's how she pieces together the lore. And I don't know how the vision she had early on. I don't see how they affected the trajectory of the story.
Can I affect the trajectory of this story?
Try
So
to.
you see that little like walnut thing in front of your can?
Yeah.
On that, I want you to open that and then just describe it. Because what are you opening? How would you describe this? Looks like a walnut that fucks.
Oh, and there's a little turtle fucker in it.
Little turtle fucker.
It's moving somehow.
It's moving. It's like, yeah.
Okay, that's cool. But
Yeah, exactly. So like I opened a new world to you as a new world was open.
yeah, but what did having a new world open to her change about her that drove the story forward?
She was stuck in an inability to move forward with her father due to the death of her mother and the inciting incident of running into a unicorn that happened to exist on formerly native lands, now taken over by a pharmaceutical, magnate
gave her the ability to draw closer to the parents she still had, and I don't know.
It doesn't line up for me because it, like, if that solved her problem that happened so early on in
What's
the movie.
her problem?
Well, if you're saying her problem was getting close to her father, I mean.
Well, her father also had to change in relation to his world because he's more connected to work, and he has to realize to give up of himself for everything for his daughter.
See that arc was clear. See, that's what I'm saying. Like that arc makes sense. And also, but I think it's a bit of an issue when this issue of like who's the protagonist here, whose arc are we following?
Jenna Ortega's the protagonist.
Well, that's the thing.
Paul.
And like, what arc did she have? Like, we know Paul Rudd's arc, so like the protagonist didn't have the clear arc.
She's open. Her mind and soul are opened to the possibilities of the universe by the existence of mythical unicorns, and then she draws closer to the father who helped give her life. I don't think
that works though, because her motivation is she's already the type who's going to not want to like take advantage of the unicorn and exploit the unicorn. She's already that way at the beginning. Like, she didn't need that vision to make her be
She'd
against.
be like, don't vaporize the unicorns just so you could sell more pharmaceuticals, which relates to nothing else.
She was already that way at the beginning, so that she didn't need that vision, that trip that she went on after, like, whatever, to turn her that way. She was already that way, so that's why I don't see it causing a change, because she was already the way. Her motivation's kind of the same throughout the whole.
She's willing to accept her place in the universe and that she has been predestined to have been in this unique position to affect all of human reality because of her special connection through her mother.
Yeah, but if she if she had accepted her being the maiden, she would have just gone out and faced the unicorn and, returned the baby unicorn with the horn. But she doesn't do anything, and they just keep talking about doing the wrong or right thing, and they brush her off.
Is any of this useful? Because it's like, there's like, oh man, could you believe that pharmaceutical oligarchs maybe don't act in the best interest of, like, we already know that they create drugs they know a certain number of people will die from, and then they can cover the lawsuits from the profits. So, like, really, what are we talking about? I heard Theo Vaughn's talking about, like, hanging the Sacklers, and see, you giggle at that, but I think it's like, at least say what you will, at least that's an ethos. Let's kill the Sacklers, and just to be clear, in this publicly produced medium, I am not encouraging anyone to carry out violence against anyone, but Theo Vaughn, public figure, has suggested to Ari Shafir, what if we just hung the Sacklers publicly? And I think we should do it. And here's how we do it. We have the Democrats and the Republicans each nominate somebody who gets to pull the lever for them to be hung, and the other party gets to send out their oldest, wrinkliest faced, representative to shake their finger at them before they do it, and the whole Supreme Court has to sit there naked.
Oh,
why
like
naked?
That book.
Because what's the book?
I don't know, but it had Jon Stewart on it, right?
Have you heard of the Jon Stewart America book? Where in there that it's 20 years old, like Brokeback Mountain, and in there they have all the Supreme Court justices of the 2004-2005 time frame naked, but they're not actually naked. They just had to take pictures of naked people and then graph the images. And legally it's fine because we have free speech in this country, so you could release a book for money that has Supreme Court justices naked in it.
That's weird, because I thought people got in trouble when they would take a celebrity's head and put it on a naked body and try to sell it on a porn site back in the 90s, like a high-tech 90s porn.
Like deepfakes? I don't know.
Well, now, but
how far are we from that? Probably not far. But
no, I'm just saying, I'm surprised they got away with it in that book, because I thought people got in trouble for it.
I'll show it to you. It's sitting on the counter. I've been taking pictures of it close up and sending them to my adopted father, when he said,
Please tell me you zoomed in on Clarence Thomas's dong.
Yeah. That was the first one I said.
Yeah, I mean, he's Long Dong Silver.
He's not.
That was his nickname that he gave himself. Yeah.
When he put the pube on the Coke and everything?
In Anita's Coke.
Anita Hill? Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, do you know what we're talking about? So, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, that was nominated by Reagan, had a bumpy road to being confirmed because Congress found Anita Hill, who witnessed to her sexual harassment at the law firm she worked at with him, where he did some things, including putting a pubis on Diet Coke or Coke.
Wow, and he still got the job.
I don't know. Did they have any other kinds of Coke back then?
They had Diet Coke and Coke.
They had the Diet,
and then he was called Long Dong Silver.
This is a long ways off from like vanilla Coke. We know it wasn't a vanilla Coke.
How funny would it be for Clarence Thomas to take his ugly ass pubic hair, because other people's pubic hair is lovely, and then take one strand of that and pull it out. That's the noise he makes. And put it on a vanilla Coke because he's black, not vanilla.
Wow.
Clarence Thomas.
Like
they've all taken bribes from oligarchs that are bought off. It doesn't matter. Amy Coney Barrett has done some weird stuff that it doesn't align with the president who put her on the bench. Ketanji Brown Jackson, she's for all the corporate mergers. It's fine.
Well,
in the long run, it's fine,
normal.
quote unquote, yeah.
I'm not going to criticize Ketanji Brown, the Honorable Ketanji Brown Jackson, are you?
I'm just saying, I don't think...
What do you think a conversation between Ketanji Brown Jackson, the Honorable Ketanji Brown Jackson, and the Honorable Clarence Long Dong Silver Thomas is like? And yes, I zoomed in on a picture of Clarence Thomas's theoretical penis, sent it to my father. He asked no questions.
I mean, I don't know what they say, but if they're at a table, I think she's probably drinking from a Coke
Vanilla
bottle.
Coke.
And not a glass, because it's the top of a bottle is much more narrow than a glass.
So you can't put it in?
It's like the castles where they'd had the cone-shaped things to shoot arrows out of, but it's hard to shoot arrows in.
Oh, the turrets? Is that what you call them?
Maybe that's what they're called. I wasn't around back then.
Turrets like the top of the... But yeah, where they have like the inside is much wider than the outside.
Well, it's like a cone. You can shoot an arrow out of a cone way more easily than you can shoot an arrow into the narrow end of a cone. Same with the pubic hair, I would imagine. I don't go around trying to like put pubes in Coke bottles, but I can just imagine. I got an A in physics in high school 23 years ago, and I would like to think that applies to pubic hairs going into Coke bottles.
I was imagining like Stuart Little. He comes through, grabs Clarence Thomas's pubic hair, and then makes a bow out of it, and he shoots it at people, and that's just what Stuart Little's up to.
Wow, we really derailed after I went to use the restroom, huh?
I think I vamped pretty well there. When you went to use the restroom, looked at me and said, "Go." With your eyes. You seduced me and said, "Go." I'm pumped we talked about Supreme Court justices on the death of the unicorn.
And their pubic hair.
And pubic hair. Yeah, and Supreme Court Justice Pubis. Nick's still mic'd and he's going to pee.
No, I'm just throwing away my can.
He's a lot more professional than I am.
I was signaling at you to take us out. Unless Nick has any more thoughts on
Death of a Unicorn.
No, I mean, it's an honorable swing. It's kind of a miss for me. The humor fell flat, and it was mostly hinged on its humor for the first half, and then when it turned to horror, too much CGI that they couldn't quite pull off. They could have, they had that couple, a few full head to toe shots of the unicorn walking on surfaces where it didn't look like it was really there. The shadows didn't look right, and that kind of took me out of it. So, I'm glad they made it, that they greenlit that. I don't think it's something I would reach for.
As we've stated before, we're recording this on the day of liberation, but it won't come out for about 2 weeks. What looking into the future, what do we care about? Sinners, The Amateur, Accountant 2, those are the top ones sorted by...
Oh, Sinners looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, I like Ryan Coogler. Wait, you haven't seen Creed 1 or
I haven't seen
Black
really
Panthers?
any of the Creeds, no.
Well, just don't watch any of the Sinner trailers, because I think it reveals too much about the movie.
I think I watched both already, but it was a while ago.
Yeah.
Same, but I don't believe that about Ryan Coogler. He strikes me as like a Fincher or Nolan type who's got some control
Yeah, but
over
I
the
think it's
trailers.
best to go in blind. I think that second trailer gave it way too much away. I'm not gonna spoil it, so the audience.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
Like maybe
they're
it's
gonna know.
misdirection.
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
I never seen that movie.
No, I never saw it either.
Yeah.
The book is pretty good. I would recommend reading the book. Yeah. Warfare?
Warfare.
The
Oh, that's
Alex
Alex
Garland.
Garland.
Yeah.
Civil War was good, and that was a fun episode last year. I won a bet off of it, I believe.
Yeah, because I bet that the picture was, what was it?
It's something with it. Go back and listen to our Civil
The
War
guy,
episode.
the mid 40ish guy in the group of journalists. I thought I think I was saying he was in the picture that they took,
but I was
he's
saying
not.
because he was a journalist.
But I was
correct.
correct about the other thing, which is what he
Well, that'll
says
do.
to the president.
He says
that'll do. That is what he says. That'll do. I've rewatched it. Well, that parts of
subtitle?
it since then.
And it's that'll do. What did I think it was?
They all do.
They all do. Yeah.
But I listened, like I did hear how it could sound that way, but being able to play it again and again, like, yeah.
David Sandberg has Until Dawn coming out next.
Oh, that's right.
month.
I could see that being good. It is rated R.
Fuck yeah. The Drop looks good.
I mean, it's getting good reviews.
Okay. Well, you know, by the time this comes out, people will have seen these movies might have been released. So,
Well, stay tuned for our next bait. Thank you for joining us for our spoilers of Death of a Unicorn. Might have gone a bit too many tangents, but hey, that's the show. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening. For more on JK Productions, find us on Instagram at JK Productions Team and on Facebook, JK Productions MN.